Hey everyone, welcome to our Right Side Up deep dive. This is actually our first deep dive that we're going to be doing for Q4. And just to give you a little background, this is going to be a 30-minute overview of Right Side Up. So we're going to be talking through some of the capabilities and offerings. So if you are interested in possibly, hiring a marketing consultant, thinking about, hiring or getting help hiring staff for your marketing team, or even hiring an agency team, this is the perfect place to learn more about Right Side Up. So with that, we'll just walk through a couple housekeeping items. So please note, all participants except us are muted. However, if you have any questions for Mike as he's talking through the Right Side Up offerings, feel free to put the questions in the chat box and we'll address them at the end of the webinar. And lastly, an email with the recording will be sent out tomorrow. So if you have, any questions and you want to look back on the recording, or if you even want to just share it with any colleagues, you'll have the ability to do that. So look out for that email in your inbox tomorrow. And with that, I wanted to kick it off and introduce today's speaker. So I'm thrilled to have Mike Timity, our head of operations here at Right Side Up. Mike has over 20 years of experience, both agency and in-house, leading growth and performance marketing programs, channels, and teams. So thrilled to have Mike. And with that, I will kick it off and have him lead today's webinar.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. Very excited to be here. Everyone, thank you for joining. I'm going to keep this relatively informal, talk through our areas of expertise at Right Set Up, what we do well, and obviously want this to be interactive. So any questions you have along the way or at the end, we'll make sure to make time to go through those, and I'll weigh in on them as best I can. All right. So we'll start with a bit of the backstory on Right Side Up, because I feel like that's relevant to kind of what we're doing today and how we structure the company. So Right Side Up, our founder Tyler Ellison started Right Side Up under kind of the broader thesis that the kind of traditional agency offering was broken. This is back in 2016, 2017, and working with a lot of traditional media agencies kind of in the growth space that for a variety of reasons, might deploy junior level talent that maybe didn't really understand a particular area of scope that they were working on for their clients, or weird incentives like no poaching of talent at agencies, or spend minimums or contractual clauses, and things that just were not in the best interest of the client. They were really positioned to benefit the agency. And also just like the broader thesis around the talent being deployed was kind of forcing talent that was on staff into a particular need versus working backwards from the client need to actually find the right talent with the right experience beyond just the exact scope. So like a Facebook marketer, but also, with experience at the stage of company and the industry they're in, with the nuances of the internal team, all these factors that really do, contribute to the success of particular scopes and efforts that are being undertaken. So really wanting to build an offering that, can work in a traditional agency construct when needed, but also we can go and get the right talent or have talent on staff within our company that really does map well to all the nuances, scope, and experience and leveling in that particular need. So as we go through the slides here, we'll get into how that manifests in kind of our offering and how we work. So fundamentally, we believe, talent is at the center of everything. They're at the center of all successful growth marketing efforts, successful companies, and so on. So we structure our core offering as kind of three pillars that we work within. Our roots are really fractional talent. That's a core part of our business, and that is any aspect of marketing, whether, and moving up to like, is it a very senior scope? Is it a more mid-level and tactical scope? Some combination thereof. We work across all vectors of leveling, all functional areas of marketing, and highly flexible deployment of that talent. So we don't believe in long-term contracts. We have very short out clauses for any reason if needs end, knowing that needs change constantly. They're dynamic within companies, notably earlier stage companies where there may not be a need for a full-time hire because a particular channel or a particular effort is being tested, or the company is just not well suited to hire at that point, or is having trouble hiring and they need someone quickly. We really offer this very flexible, work backwards from client need, very consultative process to work with our clients to actually define the need. Internally within Right Setup, we're all former in-house growth marketers, so we pride ourselves on being able to know what excellence looks like and be able to vet and ultimately recommend fractional talent that we feel really good about, and then partner with our clients ongoing to make sure things are going well in fully flexible terms that's fully in control of the client and talent that we're pulling into the collective. We also do, we've recently launched a full-time offering. A lot of our clients over the years have asked in places where they know they want to bring someone on full-time. There are many use cases where that makes a lot of sense, and not bringing in a fractional consultant is not the right fit. So we've recently spun up a full-time offering, and we've brought in a new person to lead that offering named Mark Okian. And Mark is building out the offering more formally within Right Setup so we can partner with our clients and talent to find them great full-time opportunities. And then agency teams, there are a lot of places where there's a high degree of specialization, and having an agency team deployed or assembling a custom team to actually go in and replace an agency at a client with a particular skill set that an agency can't just deploy from their on-staff team. We believe in that deployment and that structure very much. And we do have a lot of business units within Right Setup structured around different offerings where it is highly specialized, and finding great talent is challenging. So our offline practice, which is a scaled practice, working with a lot of large brands, deploying everything from audio channels, podcast advertising, TV and OTT management strategy, Amazon e-com advertising and optimization, affiliate marketing, being a very specialized and fast growth channel that a lot of companies are testing into, creative services. And we have a practice called Right%, which is a B2B only performance agency, works in a more traditional agency construct, but highly specialized in fast growth SMB and enterprise B2B, where there's a limited pool of skill set and expertise. So ultimately, Right Setup, we are a talent platform powered by A+ marketers. We're constantly evaluating and pulling A+ talent into our platform that is working with us on various engagements. We want to help the most ambitious companies achieve their growth goals, and doing so in a partnership-oriented and consultative way. So again, we deploy those in multiple constructs, and our process is we'll partner closely with our clients to determine what is the right delivery model, what is the right construct, and build that recommendation and ultimately drive it to a kickoff and ongoing engagement. So again, we're getting into like, consultants will leverage our collective of fractional talent. This can be anywhere from 5 to 40 hours a week. We're pretty agnostic to what that looks like. A lot of fractional engagements are hourly rate based, so it is paid for what's needed. Not always a retainer or something like that, although there are cases where a retainer does make sense or a client would want that. And we're certainly open to those types of structures where it makes sense, and we can uncover that in the process up front when we're discussing the scope of needs and kind of what is the environment within the company and client preference. Retained search. So again, building out our offering there, and we'll leverage our adjacent expertise on talent evaluation and the collective we've built over the years. And talent is fluid in the sense of like they have periods where they may want to be doing fractional consulting, and they may have periods where they want to take a full-time role, and being able on the talent side of our collective be able to represent that and provide opportunities for both clients and talent to come together in a full-time capacity is definitely an offering we want to continue to grow and continue to find ways to support our clients and our talent base with that offering. And then agency teams, again, where we can deploy our very high expertise and focused teams around different marketing channels, the ones I previously mentioned, offline, Amazon, and so forth, and be able to drive quick results that are based on deep expertise, working with a large bunch of clients across these channels. We can deploy these teams very quickly, and they have deep expertise in their particular areas and can drive results very quickly. So happy to chat more about that as we go on. We've worked with over 1,000 clients over the about 8 years that we've been in business. We're truly agnostic to industry and stage. We've worked with and are working with very late stage publicly traded companies, the Coinbases, the DoorDashes of the world, all the way through to seed stage companies that are testing and iterating on their product and finding channel market fit, within growth and marketing, and need a flexible and expertise-driven solution with minimal financial commitment, just bringing someone in a fractional capacity to test and everything in between that. And that includes full-time fractional people filling in needs, 30 to 40 hours a week, all the way down to that 5 to 10 hour or project-driven deployment of talent. And again, our contracts are structured in a way that's very flexible for our clients to feel like they can maximize the output and the benefit of the engagement without being locked into long-term contracts and expanding costs and all the things that every company needs to consider as they balance their cost and ROI on investments. So the what we're known for and kind of our origins are in the consultant marketplace. We cover every vector of marketing at this point. We've been doing them for a long time, so these are not new. Our roots were kind of more in the performance and SEO side, and over the last 7, 8 years, we've really built out into many other functional areas of marketing that we can cover very effectively and quickly with our talent collective. Those extend beyond, traditional paid channels, paid social, paid search into free SEO, CRO, lots of email lifecycle support, again, spanning anything from head of VP all the way down to manager level in any capacity of deployment. Influencer marketing, content marketing, organic social, and we run across B2B and B2C. We're very diverse in that split between our client base and our talent base in the collective and can cover pretty much any vertical. And again, that's in a part-time capacity. We cover particular specializations. A use case we see a lot is seasonal or leave coverage. Like somebody's going out on leave on a team, and they have no additional staffing to pull someone in on the team already. And we'll reach out for a fractional coverage for some period of time, 3 to 6 months, whatever that is. And we fill that use case quite a bit. We can scale teams quickly. We've done this use case many times where we might have a new leader, and I'll talk a bit about this in a bit, where we'll have a new leader join and they inherit a team where there's a lot of gaps in capabilities and they need to hit the ground running quickly. And hiring can take, another 3 to 6 months to get the right team in place, and they need results like now. So we've been a partner to, in many instances in this case, where we will deploy a team of fractional consultants quickly to help leaders and companies spin up results very quickly, to not lose time and maybe parallel pathing, bringing on, full-time needs later on down the line, but can be a very quick solution on that front. And then a big benefit both on the client and the talent side is this concept of try before you buy. So a lot of times on the talent side, people want to get a sense of the role, the company, and do so in a way that it doesn't require them just diving into an unknown in a W-2 situation. On the client side, they may want to test like how effective is this person in their role, how needed is this scope, things like that. In the try before you buy construct, which is our pro poaching clause, where clients and talent can formalize a full-time role as a result of a right setup engagement, is a really effective way for both sides to feel very good about what they're doing and get a sense of, in a very low pressure way, get a sense of how good of a fit is it for both people. So that is a feature of our engagements that we always like to highlight, as we get a lot of positive feedback on that feature itself. And we can move very quickly on needs, 5 to 7 business days, usually a turnaround recommendation to our clients. Sometimes we can do that faster just because we have a lot of data on different scopes and different people who are good fits for it. We've been doing it a long time, a lot of engagement, so we have a lot of feedback and a lot of ways to do that very efficiently. So we quote 5 to 7 business days, but sometimes it can be 1 or 2 days to get that in place. So we pride ourselves on speed in addition to quality. Agency teams, there's a lot to cover here. We have a ton of expertise in-house at Right Setup. Outside of the Talent Collective, these are the teams that are built around particular offerings. So, offline marketing being one, we have a team in-house. They've been doing this for 7 years within Right Setup, working with many large brands, Rocket Money, Nutrafol, DoorDash and Pass, Robinhood, helping them across podcast advertising, radio, digital audio, TV, OTT management, measuring the effectiveness of those channels and doing so in a performance-driven way. That team is an agency offering through us that can quickly spin up and drive results quickly for companies that need to pull in that expertise quick and do so in a team-oriented structure. The same applies on e-com. Our roots are in Amazon, PPC, and DSP ads, and account management. We've expanded recently into Instacart, Walmart, Kroger ads. Deeply analytical team, performance driven, working with a lot of larger e-commerce brands, Kodiak Cakes, Rishi, Momentous, and so on. And that team is another one that's an in-house team that spins up very quickly on particular needs that our clients express to us. And we can do so in a very expedient manner. Affiliate marketing is another one that there's just been a ton of interest in recent years around scaling affiliate channels, and realizing that that is a highly specialized skill set. I think I can reference my past experience running growth teams, and affiliate being part of my purview, but really not considering myself an expert in affiliate marketing. And this revelation we had that affiliate is this channel that has a particular nuance to it that's not always part of like a broader performance marketing scope, just given the complexity and specialization it requires. So we, a few years back, spun up a bespoke offering on affiliate strategy led by our GM, Amy Scanlon. And that team is highly focused on helping our clients scale affiliate marketing as a channel and as they delve into it. And we're working with really runs the gamut from smaller, earlier stage companies looking to test into it to the Sirius XM, Stripes, Lululemon studios of the world. And then Right Percent, the only part of Right Setup that has kind of a sub brand to it and is known as Right Percent. That was built around our GM Kevin Barry with the idea of like B2B performance marketing being this area of specialization, whether it's a self-serve SaaS product or it's a sales team driven sales like growth kind of model, being the specialized team that only works on fast growth B2B SMB, B2B enterprise companies in those different constructs of are we driving users through a self-serve onboarding? Are we driving users through a sales qualification funnel, ultimately to sales led process to close deals? Like there's a degree of specialization there that does not exist when you come from a B2C or e-commerce performance background. It's a completely different environment that requires different nuances that the Right Percent team is very specialized in and understands very deeply. And we've worked with a lot of large and mid-stage B2B brands, DoorDash on the merchant side, Ramp, Reddit, the list goes on and on. So we pride ourselves on having a lot of specialization in particularly in B2B performance in a team agency construct. Custom agency teams is another one that seems to come up more and more. A lot of discussions that we've had over the years with marketing leaders, whether it's the CMO or VPs of marketing at various companies. There's a mixed bag of happiness with agencies and kind of the narrative that we latched onto very early as a company around like sometimes agency teams, you get a team that's not really well versed in your particular needs and your scale and all the nuances of what's needed to be successful. And they're kind of forcing a team upon you that's like on staff and available. So we found this success with this idea of like, we can actually replace your agency. And in cases where it's not a single fractional person, it's not a single FTE hire, it's actually assembling a group of people with particular skill sets across a group of channels, and maybe a principal who's overseeing their work in partnership with the client is a really effective structure for us to deploy. It can be confined within performance marketing or growth. It can expand across like paid performance channels, CRO, email, we could do it all. We can build that very quickly out of our collective. And we found it to be a very successful structure for us to deploy for our clients to give them a team where the scale warrants more than one person. It replaces an agency and it can do so in a cost-effective way where the pricing is not percent of media or something like that. And we can provide something really competitive with a highly specialized team behind it. So we're really excited about this opportunity and want to continue to chat through it with our clients and prospects. And then retained search. This is another one we're really excited about. It's a newer offering from us, but as I mentioned earlier, we recently hired a gentleman named Mark Okion, who really comes from this background of scaling FTE offerings and is an expert in the space, also has a marketing background. So again, priding ourselves on we have done the work. Everyone on the team has held in-house marketing leadership positions. Mark is no exception to that. He can be an advisor on org design, role scoping, comp assessments, JD, writing up a JD, talent sourcing, running it through the entire process as a partner and deeply integrating with that process to find the right talent. And Mark's background is he's done the work, he knows every aspect of marketing and can be a real advisor in that process. And we're seeing more and more demand, especially as the market continues to pick up as we head towards 2025 with building out marketing teams and a lot of interest in, hey, I just want to hire someone great. Like we know we need it. Let's go. What do we need to do? So we felt like given our broad purview of what is great talent in both a fractional and a full-time capacity, we're really leaning into this offering and would love to chat more with anyone who's interested in learning more about it. All right. Well, we got through it about right on time, so would love to open it up to questions anyone has, and I'll do my best to weigh in and or follow up over email.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mike. So yeah, now's the time. We have 5 minutes for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A box. We'll answer them live if we can. So with that, let's go through and see some of the questions that we got. So one question we got, so funny enough, we actually did a webinar on this back in August. But Mike, how do you know when to hire, full-time employees versus marketing consultants versus agencies?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do think there is a lot of nuance in company structure and kind of what the scale that you're working at. What does your existing team look like? How do you think about budgeting as well? So a good example of that is if you're working with a set of proven channels, you have budget to support a full-time hire. You don't see it going away, the work, and you really want to invest for the long haul in that. I would say hire an FTE. It's a very classic use case. But if it's something that you see as an evergreen effort, you really want to invest in talent for the long haul and not necessarily just a fractional resource for that. That said, the market can be tough depending on specialization, your company, the space you're in, the stage you're at, depending on what environment you're competing in for talent. So there is always that push-pull of like, do you just need someone quickly as well? Where sometimes FTE hiring can be slower, just finding the right talent, getting the team on board with a hire, all that stuff. So there is this evaluation that always happens where and this is why we like our try before you buy pro poaching model as well. We do have cases where I just need to get someone in seat, and then over that time of an engagement with a fractional person, you realize, oh, we should try to hire this person. They're great. And then the person's like, I like this company. You're great. Like, and then it becomes this formal thing, and we love that when that happens because it's a benefit to everyone on both sides. But I think generally the evaluation between the two and an agency for that matter is there are places where on the agency side specialization is so high, you need quick action. You might have in-house expertise, but you need a backbone to actually run with the execution of the channels. It could be a heavy lift. Like we see this a lot with offline and Amazon e-com and so on and so forth, where the expertise is like limited in-house. There's not a lot of bandwidth. Going and hiring out a bunch of people is not really tenable. And engaging a team of experts who are going to integrate as if they're part of your internal team, but be a partner through Right Setup is a really effective model for cost, speed, results, expertise quickly in a senior capacity. So we really stand behind that model in those places, and that generally is the evaluation. that we see.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned before, Mike and one of my other colleagues, Kyle, just did a webinar on resourcing strategies back in August. So if you go on our website to our webinars page, you'll be able to find it. And they kind of go more in depth about that, when to hire a full-time versus agency versus consultants. All right, looks like we got time for one more question. So Mike, what are some common mistakes you see companies make in regards to resourcing?
I think a classic one is hiring quickly before they know that the need is proven. I think this is a risk in startups. I think um, there's this kind of common thing with wanting to hire someone, so the intentions are really good, but maybe not making the right hire in terms of leveling or experience is one that sometimes happens where there's too much focus on the tactical experience, like very broad kind of semi-joking example I'll give is like being an early stage B2B SaaS company and hiring like somebody who ran meta ads at like a scaled consumer company. I won't pick on anyone, but like they may be very good at meta at scale, and they may have a lot of resources behind them at those companies to help with measurement and data science teams and things like that. And they get very attached to the logo of that the person was working on, but don't capture the nuances of like it's a very different product. It's a very different go-to-market. It's a very different set of skills around testing with limited data and being able to roll up your sleeves and do a lot of analysis and kind of figure out what's working without stat sig on like there's so many cases where you see that happen. And it can be disastrous where the person doesn't stick around because they're not successful, or they realize they don't want to work with the sales team in that case or whatever, which has different nuances. So there is the like logo chasing type of thing with hiring. And also just like, is it actually an evergreen channel yet? Do you have channel market fit? And if not, do you want to de-risk that, especially when you get into the less core channels? Do you want to test into like, I'll use like our offline practice as an example. You don't know if you're early stage company, you've never done it before, you need to test podcast, like, or something like it's an offline channel. And like, you don't know if that's going to work or not. So do you want to go hire someone highly specialized to come in-house, spin that up, and then realize it doesn't work? And then you're in a position where it's like you either need to redeploy that person who may or may not be a good fit for other things within your company, or do you want to de-risk that, get a fast read from a team that's got a broad purview of different companies and has run tests for a lot of different things and understands the nuances of that and figure out, is this something that actually works? Find scale and then hire someone to come in and manage the program in partnership with an external partner, or take it in-house over time if you get the right read and the right results, and you want to further invest internally for that, which is a use case we see too, where we'll get the program going and then hand it off internally in a good spot where they feel like the client feels like they can run it, without the use of an external partner like Right Setup. And we love that too, because we've set them up for success, and that's a great outcome for everyone.
Absolutely. Great. Those are awesome points. I know we are running out of time, so if you do have any additional questions, feel free to still put them in the chat now, and we'll follow up after the webinar is over. And if you do want to connect with Mike after this webinar, his email is up on the screen. And if you do want to contact Right Side Up directly, you can use the form right here or email us at growth@rightsideup.co. So with that, I want to thank each of you for attending today. And of course, thank you, Mike, for walking through Right Side Up's offerings. We hope everyone got valuable insights on, what we provide and how we could support you from whether it's an agency side or from a marketing consultant standpoint. And just a quick reminder, we will send out a link to the recording after this webinar is over. So please look out for that in your inbox. And with that, I want to thank you all again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day today. Thanks, everyone.